Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Glad to have you here for Comics News today on October 12th, or better known as Columbus Day. Great man, honoring a great man. I hope we still are doing it, although he's been under attack for a while.
He's a
Apologize for the.
racist.
He is a racist, it seems. Do apologize for the tardiness, but I can't do anything with Booster.
Oh,
No, it's my fault.
oh,
It's my fault. It's
I
always
am
my
not
fault.
retarded.
No, you're not. But all right, let me come over here and go through the extra process of finding where you guys are. Oh, there you are. Bringing it up and I can't do anything with and trying to deal with it. So here we go. Booster, tell us how you doing today?
Me? Oh, I'm splendid. I'm splendiferous, even one might say.
That's nice. That's a good
Yeah, I'm
word. Do
having a
you
great
use that
time.
word often?
Oh yeah, I invented it.
Oh, you did. Oh, that's
Yeah,
perfect. But you guys were
I'm
having
still
a
knitting
chat
it
with me
to the
earlier about
canary.
something that I was looking forward to watching with my wife, but I guess I'm not going to watch it now.
Yeah,
Um,
sorry, we kind of screwed it for you, didn't we?
yeah. Well, no, you
We
you
just
saved
cut.
me time, right?
Me and Fundaro just kind of swooped in and said, "Yeah, the boys seem to kind of sucked a little."
Yeah. Well,
Sadly.
I want to talk a little bit about it because if you remember last year when the first series came out, we all had our opinion. I think in general we agreed we liked it. I said, yeah, I
Hmm.
liked it, but there's something. There was something, niggling at the back of my head, right?
Mm.
And I didn't know what it was. Well, I saw the first episode only. My wife and I watched it. We just hadn't had time to see more. By listening to you and from seeing that first episode, I think I know what it is.
Hmm.
Um, it's well, first of all, why are you messing with perfection, right? I mean, whether depending on what kind of comic book person you are, The Boys is really one of the most perfect runs I think in comic book history.
It's
I mean,
fantastic.
the beginning, middle, end. It just really, really good story. It's well done. And they decided that they knew better, and they were going to go in there and adjust it and change it in quite radical ways, right?
Hmm.
And I did feel a little bit of wokeness, but season one wasn't that bad. But I just felt something was off, and now, of course, you guys are telling me my worst fears came true. It sounds like.
Yeah, they definitely lean into it a bit more with the wokeness this time, right? For
Hmm.
me, I think the biggest um, disservice from the comic to a show adaptation is Butcher.
Yeah,
Butcher should be the boogeyman to these superheroes.
he should be. You're right.
Sadly, he's left to do very little, and that disappoints me.
No, as it should. I mean, it's let me bring this up. And we'll start with this then. But no, 100% that's true. Uh,
Hmm.
the Butcher is the biggest and first debacle we can talk about. First of all, Carl Urban, I love you. I'm always available for anything you need, sir. Marriage, money, whatever you need. Um,
Felicia.
yeah, no, whatever. Carl, no, Carl
Hmm.
Urban, he's such a dude, right? He,
Hmm.
he loves Judge Dredd. He has no trouble doing it, not showing his face, right? Whereas
Yep.
The Mandalorian is in literal, bad water, because the lead actor is bitching because he can't show his face, and it's like, dude, you signed up and knew that was going to
Oh
happen,
dear.
right?
Yeah.
Um, but everything he does, he's just a dude. He is the dude, right? Carl
Hmm.
Urban. So I was like, good choice, and of course it's a perfect choice. If you look at him in The Boys, he's freaking badass, dude.
He kills it.
He
He
kills
kills
it,
it.
right?
It's not him that's the problem. It's how he's written and the
Yeah.
direction he's given, or the lack thereof.
Well, them not having powers, spoilers abound. All
Yes.
right, everybody, just be aware. For if you
Hmm.
haven't read the comic, or if you haven't seen the show, you might want to tune out. But yeah, we're getting into it because they should have powers. These guys are the ones that have been put together because the government's worried. about what's going on with this corporation. And they
Mhm.
found they know certain things. They know how the superheroes are made, and they make their own. And Huey's brought in
Mhm.
because his wife gets killed, but they show in the first month for the season, which is good, or his
Mhm.
girlfriend, I guess. But these guys, need to have power, and the Butcher has enough push to get into the Homelander, right?
Yeah.
And they're an equalizing point. Another thing is, and so that's screwed up. Huey, for some reason, is one too old and two too focused. There's too much focus on the story on Huey, don't you think?
Yeah, way too much.
Mhm.
That's a whole problem throughout the whole second season.
Yeah,
Butcher
and
kind of gets put on the back burner and is doing this weird character exploration the whole time, and it's pretty much just all Huey, 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 Huey.
and that's weird. I mean, is us basically, right?
Yeah.
And so
Mhm.
he needs to be there, but he's not the front. Um, and the woman, why
Yeah,
why
the
is she
female.
so damn old? I mean, that's an almost 40-year-old actress playing the woman. It should be a girl.
Yeah.
Why isn't it? There's nothing sexual about that character at all. So you don't have to worry
Mhm.
about having a little girl doing it. It's just brutal. So what the hell happened? And yes, Willie Mammoth, the Tick was a lot better. Tick's badass. But I really want to dig into what the hell happened with the boys because season one I was like, oh, I liked it, but and season
Yeah.
two is a
When
debacle.
I understood what your butt was when I read the comics and just saw the number of things that they did wrong
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
because of how great the comic is.
What a- what
Um,
what about Mother's Milk? What the hell are you done with him? Right? I mean,
hey,
this
no one knows why he's called that now.
no one don't understand why he's called that, and they won't. And I don't
Mhm.
mind the dude playing him. I think he does a good job as Mother's Milk.
Yeah,
He's a bit
fine. Yeah,
small, but it's
I
all
mean
right.
the casting in this this show even is pretty damn good. Frenchie's perfect.
Frenchie's awesome. I have no complaints about Frenchie at all.
Yeah.
But
He actually gets some character development, quite a bit of it actually in this season. And while it's obviously much different from the book, it's okay. It's
Mhm.
good. It makes sense with the way they've presented him so far. Like it's completely logical. It doesn't break the logic of his character. Um, that's one of the main problems I have here with this season is a lot of the character's main logic, internal logic, breaks or is discarded. And Butcher being the prime example. Um, it's tragic. I don't really know what they can do to fix it, especially with the way the season ends. Um, the good news is they might have a way back if they're smart enough to realize what they did at the end, which it might have been intentional. I don't know, but I don't think it was. So we'll see. It's a real shame. Most of the season was great, truly.
Mhm.
Up until most of the episodes were really good, just as good as the first season, or real close. That last episode, though, man, it's just the more I
Everything
think
falls
about it,
apart.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just more and more disappointing.
Yeah.
well, spoil it away, dude.
Well, the last episode, basically they end up with this big confrontation trying to get um, Butcher's wife and her kid, actually trying to get her kid away from Homelander.
Yeah.
Homelander and Stormfront have become a couple, and they're going to basically raise the kid to be basically a super Nazi, is what I would gather is the idea. Um, Homelander doesn't seem okay with that though. There's a few times where she starts talking like racial stuff and how she's basically her racist angle because she's a Nazi, and he just kind of cringes at it and kind of gives her a weird look. But it's never really explored other than that. Another thing that's not explored other than that is that right there, Homelander allowing Stormfront's influence over his son. Um,
Mhm.
What?
yeah,
Why wouldn't he just kill her outright?
yeah. Well, because he's banging her. She's his girlfriend.
Mhm.
Huh?
Yeah. So they get together. She worships him because she thinks he's the perfect man. Uh, you know,
Practically an Aryan.
yeah, basically a super Aryan.
Yeah.
Which whatever, fine. I don't
Well,
really care about
hold,
the
hold,
Nazi angle.
hold on,
because they were never going to do that right anyway.
You're hurting me. Hold on a second. Now, I saw her introduction. It was all wrong,
Yep.
completely wrong. But if I am correct, she is not white.
She's a Jew, definitely, no question. That's a Jewess.
So what the hell is? Huh?
No, she is 100% an actual Nazi.
A
She's
Nazi
100
Jew.
years old or whatever.
Well,
And
George
she's not
Soros
supposed
is
to be a
definitely
Jew.
funding this. Yeah, I said it. Come at me. But
yeah, so basically it comes to that, right? And the basic main conflict of the season for the boys and for Homelander is over the son. Because they get his wife back, like she comes with them. They get her out. So he has this big epiphany moment and all this, which is ridiculous. Butcher had this long, way too long, drawn out subplot of meeting his parents and all this stuff that nobody should care about or want to see.
no.
To make him more human, I guess, so that when the final thing happens, he's willing to lay down his life if necessary for her son, to try and get her son back.
They don't get powers at all.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
They should have either gotten the powers at the beginning of this season or the end of season 1.
Yeah, they should have. And I thought they were leading up to
Butcher
that
needed
with
to
the
be
CIA
Butcher.
lady, but they killed her.
Yeah. Yeah, immediately. Yeah.
But and of
in
course,
a way that again doesn't make sense.
no, it doesn't. And the thing with Butcher also, you don't need to humanize Butcher. Butcher is very simple. That's the whole point of the character. Kill it.
Yes. He's
That's
a butcher. He's named perfectly.
He is. Yeah. He's a butcher.
Oh, he's a freaking monster.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And he only has a couple of monstrous moments in this episode, this season.
Yeah. And that's one of the main problems here. Like I said, the character's internal logic breaks. Why is Butcher being humanized? Why is he suddenly being all human in any way? He should be Butcher. I liked, actually, there was an episode in this season where he doesn't go and he finds his wife and he tries to get her to leave, but he hates soup so much and she has a super son, she won't do it, right? And that was fine. I think that made perfect sense. They should have kept going with that. Instead, they tried to take that away.
What
right?
does he
so
want?
now he doesn't hate soup so much. He only hates bad ones. What?
No, that's not Butcher at all. And
Exactly.
When it comes to soups, Matt, he's genocidal towards them.
no, he is genocidal.
All of them.
Yeah. Did they reveal anything about Black Noir? Which is the dumbest name ever, dude. Black.
I have a feeling they've ruined Black Noir.
They've ruined that.
What? Why?
So the main twist of Black Noir, Booster told me this because I didn't even know it, is that he's a clone.
He is Homelander.
He still could be. That still could be a thing, by the way. Just it could happen. But apparently he now has a nut allergy, and that's why he's all masked up and everything all the time because he's very allergic to nuts.
And when when they take off his mask, you can clearly see the actor who plays him.
Yeah, it doesn't look like who he's
it's
supposed to look like at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And this was this is revealed while he's beating the crap out of Starlight, just tearing her apart, beating her up, which he should. That's fine. I like that. And Queen Maeve just shows up, first lesbian ex machina in the series, right there. She just shows up out of nowhere behind him in a room where he's facing the door. By the way, so where the did she come from? And shoves a candy bar in his mouth that has almonds or something in it, and he starts to choke. Because he's allergic
First
to it.
of many Maeve teleportations in this show.
Yeah, she just shows up.
Oh my. Well, oh man. This is a perfect example of Hollywood writers thinking they know better. You had the perfect thing. All you had to do was follow it. I mean, Starlight
laid out there as a blueprint.
It's perfectly laid out. Starlight is absolutely messed up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just the introduction. I mean, the whole point of her coming. Garth Ennis was making a lot of political statements in that series. That's what he does, right? And the whole thing of her coming out of a Christian supergroup, somewhere in the Midwest, coming and making a decision because they basically said, "Hey, you want in? You got to blow all of us," right? And she chose to do it. And Huey gets a hold of the video, or somehow he gets a hold of the video, and it kind of it puts their relationship on the edge. But in this version,
Yeah.
Huey's the one is putting their relationship on the edge because he's not being honest. It's
Yeah.
switched, right? She made that choice because she wanted to be in the best team. They would chose her for TNA. That's what they chose her for. But they made her
Mhm.
give a blowjob to everybody, which she chose to do. Now they did it
Mhm.
on the Aquaman takeoff, and made it as if he was the bad guy. Once again, that was her choice. That was the point, right? That was the point.
Yep.
And he was making a comment about the two-facedness of religious
Well,
people is what he was doing.
here's it gets even worse than that. So at one point during the season, Huey gets hurt real bad, probably gonna die.
Okay.
And Butcher and Starlight are trying to get him to a hospital basically. Well, she kills a guy to steal his car. And then they go through this weird
Wow.
thing between her and Butcher where they're trying to say that they're the same person.
Mhm.
Like they have the same morals and the same outlook on life. And it's just like, what? Like, it just comes out of nowhere.
Like, what point are you trying to make it? The only thing they truly have in common is Huey.
Yeah,
That's right.
Huey's the thing that binds them together, nothing
right.
else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And especially if you think about in the series, those of you who've read it, if you haven't, I suggest you go read it. But toward the end there, when Butcher's done what he's done, and he's sitting on the rooftop with Huey. In the end,
Yeah.
Huey does not agree with Butcher's way of things. He doesn't,
Yes.
but he loves
Mhm.
Butcher all the same,
Mhm.
right? And it's a beautifully written. It really, really is well written.
It's an incredible finale.
It is. It really is emotional. It's powerful, and to be able to do that in a comic book is impressive, right? This is
Mhm.
why The Boys is so praised, because Garth Ennis wrote the hell out of that book, man.
Well, I think I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because they do have good writers. It's a competent season up until that last episode. So I think the reason they did this was for that moment. So if that's where they're heading, to where Huey and Butcher, finally wind up on the wrong side of each other, because the way they positioned it was like Huey's going to have to decide between these two eventually,
Yeah,
right?
but
But they're trying to paint them as very similar choices, and that's why he's even stuck in this situation.
no,
Was like the
that's
whole undercurrent of that scene, and it's just why they're
it's
they're
dumb.
not similar people at all. Butcher's a madman.
And
That's
there's
the whole
no
point of him.
and there's no
Yeah.
connection anyway. Huey should already be sleeping with her and them living together. Should already be happened, right? One.
Yeah.
But I mean, the problem is, as you guys are noticing, there are so many things wrong. Everything's wrong.
Yeah.
The only thing that's right is Frenchie, right? I mean,
And it's none of the actors' fault. They're all great. They all do a great job. There's never a part where it's like bad acting is the problem, or they're
Yeah.
not, in their character the way they should be. And any of them, even the ancillary characters, they're all good, right? Just the ones who are kind of there to be there for a character, all great. It's just the direction they've decided to go breaks even the logic they set up in the first season with a lot of these characters. Like Butcher, they do this, like I said, this long subplot trying to humanize him just so he isn't a monster who is a complete soup bigot, right? They even call him a bigot at one point, which he is. I mean, he is.
he is.
But then it's it kind of all falls apart because one of the very last scenes of the last episode, spoiler, his wife gets killed, and she gets killed by her own son accidentally. He goes to blast with his eye beams Stormfront, and he hits Stormfront, but he also hits.
Stuck so much.
Okay,
It's real bad. He also hits his mom and rips her throat open basically, and she bleeds to death.
But here's the question, though.
But hang on, real quick.
Yeah.
Butcher is talking to his wife as she's dying, doing the last words, all that shit, and then he picks up his crowbar and looks at the kid like he's gonna go kill him.
Mm.
Mhm.
And then Homelander shows up,
Like you would have.
which he totally would have, and all of a sudden he's not trying to do that anymore. He just changes his mind. What? Why?
That would have been.
Why would he
perfect
just
move,
change his
actually.
mind?
That would have been a perfect move.
Homelander should have zapped Butcher on the spot there, but
Yeah.
then we have this third Deus Ex Maeve teleportation.
She
She
just
comes
shows up.
in, with her phone, like, here is my blackmail for you, Homelander. You have to leave them alone or I release this. Which Homelander should have just been like, zap her fucking hand to take the phone out and then killed Maeve on the spot. But no, he just, again, backs down when he stood up to.
And
Wow.
basically leaves. Fucks off.
Wow. Well,
That
here's
whole
my
last conflict there breaks the logic of all the characters and just breaks logic in general because one of the characters literally just teleports in, shows up out of nowhere.
Well, it sounds like she does that a lot.
Apparently.
which we know she can't do. We know because she can't even fly, which is a kind of an important point because a lot of the falling down of the bad guys, as it were, is the debacle on the airplane, right?
Yeah.
And she can't fly. I mean, and of course, Black Noir, he thought was dead because he fell out, and that, like I said, that should have been my hint to knowing that Black Noir was actually Homelander. But it's an important point that she can't move around freely, right?
Yeah. Well, there's the other one. The second time she does it, right? They have a big final fight, which Butcher's not a part of, with Stormfront, and you have Starlight and the woman, and they fight them, and the guys too, but they're no match for her, so she just blasts them away. And so they're fighting her, and they're getting their ass kicked, and Maeve just shows up to drop a one-liner and starts beating her ass. Literally just shows up. No, there's no reason she's there. There's no plane or helicopter. She's just there.
They're all out in the middle of nowhere.
They're in the middle of a field out in the middle of nowhere in New York.
So the woman has power then?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so that's what they're doing. I get it. Now you have finally opened the door, and I see what's happening. The men have no ability, and they're a bunch of punks. The women have to deal with it. It's a woke thing. I get it.
Even the one who has all of the power in the world just keeps letting himself be punked out for no reason.
Yeah. It's like Picard in the new series.
Which they completely resisted in the first season. This is why I tell people will say things like this new series about this whatever I like is coming out. And I say just wait. The first season will probably be good. Wait till the second season. Because they're most likely, if they want it to be successful, they're not going to cram it full of their nonsense right away. They're going to give you basically a good adaptation, good enough, or great in this case, I think. And then you're going to get the hammer dropped on you in the second season. That seems to be what's happened here. And in all honesty, they resisted it hard, quite hard actually, until that last episode where they just fell into the trope. Where all the girls are badass and all the guys are worthless.
It looks like they've been doing this since the beginning. So, I mean, there it is. And it's really interesting to me how women are strong and tough only when men are weak. Isn't it interesting how that seems to be working
Chester,
out?
let me tell you how cringy it is. So at the very beginning, I don't know if you said you watched the first episode of this season, right? I don't know if this was in the first episode or the second, but when Stormfront basically makes fun of one of their stupid SJW things that Vought's doing about how girls get it done. And she makes fun of that. Well, so all the girls are the only ones who can fight her because of course, right? And when all the girls are literally all three of them around her just beating the crap out of her, one who is it, Frenchie? He says, "Oh, I guess girls do get it done." I was like, "Ah."
Oh God, no. Not Frenchie. Not Frenchie.
No.
Oh no.
And I gotta say, the biggest disservice they did to Frenchie was when he tried to kiss the female.
Yeah.
And Chester should know how bad that is, right?
Well, first of all, he would never do that.
Yeah.
He would never do that. So the fact that they wrote that in there, someone needs to get kicked straight in the balls. They completely misunderstand the point. No, Frenchie is the father figure to her, and that's one of the problems with having this old Japanese lady playing her, right?
Yeah.
She should be a kid. And look at the way they dress her. Look at the picture I got in front of you. They're dressing her like a child, but yet they didn't
looks like
cast
she's in
her.
Kind of PJs.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. She should be a kid. She should be like 12, 13, 14 years old. Somewhere in there, she should be scrawny and awkward, but just this terrifying thing. Because she is terrifying.
Besides all that, the biggest problem, just from a mechanical standpoint of like a show, is they set up characters for nothing. The cult guy, they have the church or whatever it's called throughout the whole season. They're building him up, the leader of the cult. as an important figure, powerful, connected. He knows everybody. He can get stuff done. And they do a great job with him, actually. He's actually quite impressive as a character. Well, he gets killed in like the last scene or the second to last scene for no reason. His head just explodes.
Oh, and
The
they did
only
that to
reason
the
this
CIA
happens
lady.
is so that they can reveal who has the ability to make people's heads explode.
And who is
And
it?
that's the other thing that sucks. The head exploder in the comics is a device that Butcher gets,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And
It is the AOC parody character that they have in there.
yeah,
She's a congresswoman who looks similar to her, has very similar anti-corporate politics and da da
it
da.
makes no
Boy.
fucking sense because
Yeah.
the whole time, right? She's been all about taking down Vought, right? But every time someone has something to take down Vought, she blows up their head.
Yeah, she stops it from happening. Yeah. that they could have saved everything with a really good finale, and they just
Well,
They did like the worst take on every scene. This is why the last episode sucks so much. Yeah, everything just falls apart. Everything
Well-
they built up, just
why didn't they just follow the book? I mean, another thing
don't
that the
know.
book makes very clear, and they don't seem to do in here at all, is how absolute debauched superheroes are. Right?
yes.
I mean, it's an important point that Ennis is trying to make, and Nick is, I don't know if he's serious or not. He's saying that he hates everything that Ennis makes, which is, fine,
Yeah.
but The Boys is
That's
really
a
good.
shame, but
The Boys brought to you by Jeff Bezos. It seems so. But
Mhm.
they just missed the point. They've really missed the
Mhm.
point on The Boys. It is
Yeah.
an actual liberal slam on superheroes. That is what The Boys, that's what Ennis was doing. It's a liberal
Mhm.
slam on the idea of superheroes. But
Well,
it's
the
done
whole idea
brilliantly.
of a superhero is a conservative idea,
Sure, of
largely.
course.
It's
Truth,
very
justice.
individualistic,
The American way.
truth, justice, all that stuff. It's 100% comes from conservative Americana ideals of what's right and wrong, and that the individual should stand up if they have the power to do so. So of course he wants to deconstruct that because he hates all of that. So, and that's fine. If you do it competently, I don't care. Do it as long as you
Yeah.
ain't doing it to actual characters like Superman or something. I don't really care. Have your fun. People want to read that. Cool. The problem here is they're trying to make too many of these heroes actually okay. They're actually not that bad of guys.
Yeah.
Maybe they screwed up here. Like Maeve, she was just a victim of Homelander, and she's in a bad situation, and she's trying to get out of it. It's like, come on.
No, she's a slut.
Yes.
And it's her fault. It's her choice. That's the whole thing. So basically, they took wokeness and they woked it up. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean,
It's such a shame because the first season was so good. It might not have been, perfectly faithful or whatever, but it probably was never going to be, let's be honest. But the characters, at least for the most part, felt close enough. And their take on them was entertaining. Like, Butcher was great in the first season, the whole time, all the way through.
Number of people he just mercilessly kills is great.
Yeah. I mean, he tries to mercilessly kill Starlight, for crying out loud. Shoots her!
Yeah.
And then this season, they replay that scene again, basically, a different setting, but the same scene. He has the same gun pointed right at her, and he doesn't take the shot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, come on!
Yeah, no, it's a debacle.
They softened him up so much.
Yeah, but see, the problem is, as we're going through this and seeing as they've changed everything in the wrong way, it's hard for me to really know which one is the most offensive. The female keeps coming back to me because it's just so wrong. But I really think, the butcher. See, it's hard. It's hard to choose which one is most screwed up. But it's got to be Mother's Milk. We have to go with that simply because now his name doesn't mean anything.
His name basically makes no sense.
It makes no sense whatsoever. So it's like, did you miss that? The all of that? Did you not see why he's called Mother's Milk?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it honestly
it's
seems
messed up.
like this was made by people who know of the source material and maybe even like it, but they don't really know it or respect it. You know what I mean? So they're kind of like casual fans of it. And that's fine if you do something competent. That's why I was completely forgiving of it up until that last episode, where it just is incompetence all over the place.
Yes.
The characters don't make sense. Things end for no reason Why'd they even begin? Like the cult guy, he was doing cool things. His whole arc was with him and Deep. Deep is the one who introduced him to the show, and basically Deep was trying to get back into the Seven, and the cult guy was going to help him do that. Well, he
Yeah.
betrays Deep
Of course.
because reasons,
Yeah.
and instead he gets the black guy, what's an A-Train,
A-Train.
back into the Seven. And he just tells Deep to be okay with that. Deep basically tells him to F off and leaves, and then they blow his head up for no
Yeah.
apparent reason.
So that
what
was
was the
multiple
point of that
scenes-
character?
They waste our time with the Deep, who ends up doing nothing,
Yes.
and they waste our time with this church guy who ends up doing nothing. Like
Yes.
everything just falls apart, and
And
becomes
A-Train.
pointless.
What was the point of A-Train's struggle? How he had a bad heart and he's out of the Seven because of it. That's all that
Yeah.
happens, and then he's just back in. Now suddenly his heart's okay for some reason. He's running all over the place. What is happening?
Yeah, see, because I thought in the comic book his trouble was cocaine, wasn't it?
I
believe it
thought
was
they
a
all had
drug-
trouble with cocaine.
Yeah, but no, his problem was a drug problem, wasn't it?
Yeah,
pretty
and
sure.
they made him like addicted to V or something.
Something.
In the
Yeah,
in the series. Yeah.
it's weird what they did, but Fresca sucks. Yeah, devilish boredom, it kind of does. Yeah, I don't know what that has to do with anything, but
For some reason, the cult has this thing where they offer. I know what it is, but they offer people frescas.
It's a reference to the Kool-Aid, I guess, right?
Yeah, but it's
Oh,
also it's an old, very old trick where you give somebody something they don't actually want and see if they'll take it, just because they don't want to offend you, and then you can manipulate them. Is basically what it is.
Yeah.
So it's a plot device, but for some reason they chose Fresca. I don't know.
It's kind of great. I don't know why it made me laugh every time, but every now and then they just go Fresca, and just hand them a Fresca. Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's so many times. I don't know why that made me laugh. but-
were there any funny moments like the dolphin or the lobster?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
a whole whale.
yeah.
Oh,
The Deep is trying. He's trying to get back to the Seven. He finds them hiding out on the ocean or whatever, a lake or something. I'm assuming the ocean since there's whales in it. And he finds them hiding out there on a yacht that Butcher stole. And so he comes zipping through, and he has a big whale that's ramming the boat, and a bunch of animals attacking the boat, and they basically run it ashore, and then ram the boat into it, and they get stuck inside the whale. It's pretty hilarious.
no, that's perfect. But here's the thing: they've lost me. They've lost probably all the fans of the boys from all the weird things they're doing. But mainly, it's because the women must be the ones that get everything done, and but you've taken Butcher out of the equation. You've lost it. You've lost it. The boys is the Butcher. It's the whole. He is the whole point. It's not Huey's story. It's the Butcher story. Huey is us. We're just kind of watching what happens through Huey.
Just
This
a
whole thing is
viewpoint,
about
yeah,
Butcher.
for a relatable character. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I
it's
mean,
honestly what it comes across as when you watch it back. Carl Urban maybe they can't afford to pay him, or they don't want to pay him to be as present as he should be. So they kind of put him on the back burner a little bit compared to other characters,
dumb.
which I think would be fine if that other character was Homelander, because he's great. If they
Yeah, he
had
was
more to
good.
him for him to do, I think it would be okay. But they went with Huey, who I don't think anybody really likes Huey.
no, he's
does
not
anybody
likable.
like
Huey's a-
Huey?
He's a
Huey's
whiny
a
bitch.
little bit of a he's a whinger, right? And
Yeah.
even the comic, he's an absolute whinger.
He is.
Yeah.
But he's pathetic enough that it works. But he's not very likable. It is true. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. I thought they did a good job with Homelander, but it sounds like they screwed it up in season 2. And I don't know. It just makes me angry. But then again, the world hates me now. So what do you want?
Yeah.
I mean,
So yeah, that's our
Well,
rant on the Boys season 2, I guess.
there it is.
Yeah.
It's really sad though, dude. It really is. Because all they had to do was just follow the script. I mean, take the comic and put it into live action form. Easy enough.
I mean, I was liking it too, I was liking the season until the last one, and then I just started questioning things. Then I had like another question, then I had another one, then another one. I started deconstructing this in my head. I was like, this wasn't good.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
And then the ending doesn't make much sense either. It's basically a happy ending. Vaught's defeated, quote unquote. Homelander's basically muzzled because of the threat of being blackmailed. And everybody kind of gets what they want. They get pardoned or whatever. All the charges are dropped, so nobody's after him anymore. So Mother's Milk goes back to his family. Frenchie runs off with the girl, and Butcher just kind of fucks off. But they set up where the one chick, which I can't think of her name, the older lady that's Butcher's mentor, she gets to set up basically a new boys, an actual legitimate one under the government, and offers control of it to Butcher, but he just walks off and doesn't say yes or no to it. Huey ends up working for the head exploder politician lady on her campaign as one of her campaign flunkies. Yeah, that's where he goes. I no idea.
But because the fact that she can explode hits is a secret only she knows.
Yes, nobody else knows that.
Huey just thinks that she's a legitimate politician that's trying to take down Vought.
Right. And Starlight ends up back with Vought, even though she spent pretty much the whole season a fugitive running from them.
And not with Huey.
Correct. Oh, well, I don't know. They might still be together. They do hint at that they're still together, but regardless, she's still back with Vought.
Yeah.
Absolute
hell
debacle.
would she want to be near Homelander after what they've been through?
Yeah, I know. What a debacle. Yeah, it's just typical Hollywood thinking they know better and thinking that feminism equates to men being weak. I mean, that's what it comes down to. We've seen its final transformation. It's about men being weak, not women being strong. That's what feminism is today, right?
Yeah.
Look at all the movies, all the TV shows, the comic book. Look what they're doing with Marvel. We were just talking about this before. Marvel came out with a Disney Plus little trailer for the show, the series they have coming up, and the trailer is very clearly how woke they are. They are not backing up. Any of you guys who thought that they would be backing up or Disney was backing up, nope. Thundero was right. They ain't backing up at all. They're tripling down,
I love
baby.
it. I love hearing that.
So Marvel is dead. Marvel is dead because they don't give a shit, dude. They don't.
No, they don't. They're perfectly fine turning Marvel into an IP farm. I mean, that's basically what it is. It doesn't make them any money now anyway. So they're fine with that. And they'll grind it into the ground. Once they grind it down into the ground, they'll just turn it into a toy factory for kids or whatever. And that'll be the end
kids
of it.
don't play with toys anymore.
Yeah.
Well, they don't, dude. I mean,
then they'll turn them into an app factory, right?
Man, that would be smarter.
Stupid little apps for kids to play.
Yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality. And if you don't believe me, go watch that trailer. It's clear. It's super clear. That trailer is a statement to us saying we do not want you anymore. Go away.
Yeah, and that's fine. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's right, Hannah. Thundero is always right. Fair enough.
It's true.
Fair enough. But
it's a burden, Chester. It's not a blessing. It's a burden.
Okay. Yeah. My left testicle is also a burden. But
you might want to get that checked.
I did. I got to check. I got a CT scan on it. Yeah. It's okay though. It's okay though. But anyway. This is really disappointing to me. I mean, at the end of season 1, I had questions. You guys know I did, but I was happy enough to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
But here it is. The shoe has dropped, and then, the whole time we've been sitting here talking, I've left up this picture, and that the female in my face all the time has been bugging me. It just bugs me. Why did they choose this old actress to play the female? Why?
I think the only reason is so her and Frenchie could be a couple.
But they're not supposed to be. Frenchie's a father figure to her.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. That's incest.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
The only good thing I can take from it, and I'm just giving them credit, because like I said, they gave us a really good first season, and most of this season was really well written. They just left Chekhov's gun on the table a whole lot.
Oh, God, what a reference. Okay, go ahead.
If they know what they're doing, and this wasn't a botch job as far as how things ended up, both Butcher and Homelander lost everything. Everything. They're completely defanged, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Butcher lost his wife. Homelander lost his ability to do really anything because Maeve will blackmail him if he tries anything.
Mm-hmm.
which could be a really cool arc. It could turn Butcher into that boogeyman character, because what does he have to lose now, right? He can just be a monster. He has nothing to lose. His friends don't want anything. Well, his friends, quote unquote, his team, all done with him. They don't need him anymore. They're fine. Their lives are back together. Huey's got his starting a whole new life. What does he have? He doesn't have his wife anymore. He has no motivation to keep peaceful, right? To try and do this any way close to the right way. So maybe he'll become more of that monstrous boogeyman character. Homelander at the end is clearly losing his mind. If you the last couple scenes, one of the last scenes he's in, he's basically jacking off. Well, he is jacking off
over the city.
over the city. It's actually
No
kind of funny.
pants or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. And then before that, though, they do this press conference thing where basically they blame everything on Stormfront. And he kind of like, they do this thing where he's like zoning out, where he's talking and people are talking to him, but he's not really there and his eyes are like blank. It's really good acting, actually.
Yeah.
And it's like he's snapping. Like he's been sane this whole time. He's just been a complete monster. Now he's not. He's just insane now.
Mm-hmm.
That could be cool. They could take that and fix all of this and take it to a place that's really cool with Homelander and Butcher.
Wow, they looks like they want to go Miracle Man on it. Well, whatever. I do have two questions, and then we're going to move on because I'm just absolutely beside myself. But the first question is one: why would Butcher care to get his wife back? She cheated on him willingly. I mean, let's be fair.
Did they establish that though?
Yes,
That
they established it quite well in season 1. She chose to go have sex with the Homelander. She chose that.
Yeah.
It was her doing.
That
She
wasn't
came and went as she
first
liked.
season, right? But I think sometime in the second season, she says that he raped her. So
No, we saw very clearly.
yeah,
We saw the video. Yeah. Now they might
Yeah.
have retconned themselves because they, more woman stuff. Because maybe it's not what it feels like to me. In the season 1, there was wokeness banging at the door, but they were able to kind of fend it off. And then season 2, they got murdered in the night and fed to the werewolves.
Yes.
So
I think that's exactly what happened. I think that's 100% what happened. They resisted it as much as they could, but they had fortunately set it up to where it could happen, and then they just caved in. Yeah.
Okay, so that's one. I don't care why Butcher would care, because he wouldn't, right? Which it shouldn't even be. This whole line shouldn't even be in the story. But that's my one. Second one, Stormfront's not that powerful. Why was she the main baddie? I guess why?
she's
Nazis are bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
Nazis are bad.
She's
they
a
just want to
Jew
do a
girl,
Nazis are
clearly.
bad. Well,
Yes.
yeah, but they wanted to do a Nazis is bad angle for the whole season.
Nazis are bad.
Oh,
And it's-
not to
here's-
mention they do multiple things with like her messages being like she's radicalizing people through the internet
Yeah.
with her memes and such.
Yeah.
Because
And then
Demons,
the black guy, what's his name? Stan or something? I can't remember what his name is.
Stan Edgar.
Yeah, Stan Edgar. He and Butcher have a sit down face to face. And basically Butcher asks, which Butcher shouldn't care about this, but for some reason he does, how can you work with that racist bitch? Or cunt, I think he actually calls her. And instead of having something really cool for the black guy to say, like really smart and clever and super villainy, right? Like he's like a super smart guy and he's they just lean into the fact that, well, I don't get to be outraged because I'm not white, is basically what he says. I'm like, what?
You're a mulatto, sir. A mulatto.
That is a white man's lecture.
Oh man! Oh goodness gracious! Jesus. But anyway, it's a debacle, and it's sad. I actually, you guys know I'm a positive, hopeful guy, and I tend to want to lean toward the hopefulness. But nope, they took that out back and shot it, along with Bambi's mom, dude. All right. Sheldon Martin
And
says,
then yeah.
"Have that old lady check Jester shorts again. She'll know what to do." Yeah, well, let's not get into that conversation. My wife does listen occasionally, I think. Nick C says, "Hey guys, DC canceled a bunch of back issue collections on Amazon. Did they? It looks like
Yeah.
everything in 2021 trades might come back out. Who knows? Well, 2021 has been an absolute disaster for the entertainment block. It looks like other things, manufacturing things like that, have been fine because they're essential, I guess. But entertainment has been absolutely slapped in the head. Um, and it is what it is. Politics abounds. We've talked about it. Here in Japan, we're right next to the whole Corona-chan, right? But yet we're probably dealt with it better than anyone in the world. They got it in here, and it's because there's zero politics. There's literally no politics going on. It's simply how do we best, as the people living on this land, deal with this problem. And we dealt with it quite well. We didn't shut things down. Entertainment's open. And America screwed the pooch, dude, and they absolutely killed Hollywood. It's ironic how Hollywood, who is the most woke and screaming and yelling at us, and Robert De Niro is saying, "Fuck him," a lot, and he thinks he's so cool in doing it. If you look at him, he's so proud of himself. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
you fuck him, and you fucked yourself because you shot yourself right in the face, and Hollywood is dead. So
What a
good
shame.
riddance, I guess.
What a gosh darn shame.
What a gosh, John. Devilish Borden says, "I think Butcher did it just to needle the dude." Ah, maybe that would be Butcher.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, but it means we're not going to get the final fight from the boys, right? The comic book. That was so beautifully bloodied, Booster.
It was gorgeous. It's
It was just,
incredible.
it was just, yeah, it was beautiful. I love that book. Anyway, let me move on. I'm sad now, but all right, I got other
My
things to
bad.
talk about. Here we go.
But
More
me and
happiness.
Fandari were ranting about it earlier. We just had to bring it over.
Well, no, it's certainly something we should talk about because like I said, The Boys is my favorite series. Now, I'm well aware that most Western comic books don't do series per se. It's
Yeah.
just Spider-Man's been going on since 1961, 63, something like that.
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
So we don't really do that. But as far as the ones who do that, the Boys is my favorite. Which you would think it wouldn't be because my favorite superhero is Superman, and Garth Ennis, clearly hates Superman with a passion, right?
Yes.
But it's such a great book, and it's sad to see them just drop the ball, dude. Anyway, go ahead, Booster.
What do we have here? Industry insiders corroborate rumors of Robert Pattinson's difficulties on set of The Batman.
All right, now we kind of touched on this a little bit last week, Booster, but we didn't go there so far because we didn't have confirmation. But one thing I've learned over the years here, even before I was doing YouTube, there's a channel, I'm sure you guys know it. It's called Midnight's Edge. Now, Midnight's Edge covers Hollywood, movie news, and um, they're always right. I don't know exactly who those dudes are, but they seem to have some kind of connection to the industry itself. I don't know what it is. World class bullshitters, they try to act like they have connections, but they have nothing at all, right? But the Midnight Edge guys, they literally are somehow connected in some way. And they were talking about the rumors that were going on, which we covered last week, about Robert Pattinson, sorry, not showing up on time, coming to set way underweight, super skinny, whining about he doesn't want to work out, get in shape for some reason. And the fact that they were like, all right, well, go out, get this guy in shape, get him in shape, bring him back. We'll just work on the stunt guys and get all those shots done, which they did. He came back. He was still. The director said he was skinnier than he was before, and it's like, what the hell is he supposed to do? Because when you put him side by side to the stunt actors who are doing all the work, it's clearly different, and he can't do anything to bulk him up. So Pattinson is just being a whingy little bitch, basically. And I don't understand it because here's the thing with Pattinson. He came out in Twilight and he was a joke, right? The little 12-year-old girls liked it, but that's about it, right? And they made money. but he was a joke. He went out, he started showing, hey, this good dude can act, and he's built his name up a little bit, right? From being, oh, this dude is legit, he can do the job. And taking on the Batman, I feel he had an opportunity to come out and demonstrate to the world that I'm more than sparkly vampire boy, right? That's where he was sitting. But he just screwed it up because he's a freaking prima donna. It's Booster.
No.
I was muted. I have another take on it because I've seen those same reports, but I've also seen the counter, and they're from other people who actually know Robert.
Mm-hmm.
That a lot of the stuff that is being reported just isn't true. That he is working, trying to bulk up. Maybe he just has a hard time bulking up. And because he's asked a couple other people like Hugh Jackman and other guys who played superheroes. Even I think he even asked Christian Bale, what did you do to get superhero shape? What do I need to do? Because apparently the studio is giving him nothing with that, according to him. This was his words. I didn't say that exactly, but that's what he was implying. That they really didn't give him any kind of direction or a physical trainer, nothing to get him there. They just kind of told him to get in shape. And he's like, okay, well, what does that mean? So there was an interview that he did like months ago where he basically implied that he didn't want to do all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, according to people who followed this guy's career, because I don't follow his career, I don't care about Twilight Guy, he does that all the time. He likes to troll reporters, so he'll just tell them things that aren't true.
Yeah, and
so
yeah.
I don't know what is or isn't true. I would bet that I think Robert's a pretty professional guy. So I would bet he's at least given it a good effort to get in shape.
And this is why last week we didn't dig into it too deep because it was still rumor and unknown, and that's what I just laid out. The rumor, I laid it out. Well, the problem is it's been confirmed this week by Midnight's Edge again, but this time they're not putting it forward as rumor; they're putting it forward as fact because on their show they had Gary Tunnicliffe on the show. And he's the he's the special effects guy for the Batman. And they asked him directly about what was going on, and he confirmed it. That's my point. Last week, we were hesitant to really dive into it because I'd heard the same thing you heard about Pattinson, right? And that's why we didn't really dig into it. But this week, we're digging into it because we have an actual confirmation from the set that it's all true.
Well, when's this movie coming out? 2022 now, right? And they push it back?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got plenty of time. I'm not worried about it. I think I'm still leaning in he's going to do great. He's a good actor. He's a professional actor. I've never heard anybody complain about him other than this. Not really. Not anybody who isn't already a complainer. So I think he's going to do fine. I liked the trailer. I like where they're going with it. I like the take on it. I think we're going to get more of a younger, more of a detective Batman from what it looks like, which is what I want, which is what I've wanted for years. So I hope that's what we get, and I think Pattinson can pull that off. I think he has the charisma.
I think he does too.
And the chops to be that cerebral Batman instead of just the action star Batman. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's going to do well. Just because he's given me no actual reason as far as his skill that he'll do poorly. People said a lot of similar stuff. People were making a lot of claims about the Joker movie before it came out, that it wasn't going to be very good, that this reason, da 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 da. And I said the same thing about Phoenix. Phoenix is one of the best actors alive, maybe the best. He's going to put everything he can into that role, or he wouldn't be doing it, and he did.
And he did. And the Joker wasn't perfect. There are certain things that could have been improved with it, but it was so solid and so good. Who cares?
Exactly.
Yeah. But this is this I kind of found it here in the article. This I thought was the most interesting comment made by Tunnicliffe here. Keep in mind he is the special effects dude on the film, and he was on the Midnight's Edge having a long conversation with them. But he said he sees two outcomes. Robert Pattinson is a nightmare, but the film's potential success could keep him locked in as Batman. Now, the statement itself is very interesting. So, Tunnicliffe is not even trying to defend the fact that he might not be a prima donna and absolutely nightmare to deal with. He's just simply saying, well, he is that. But the potential of the film is so great that they might have to be they might be stuck with him anyway. Now I don't know if that's
It's
true.
interesting that they'll let a worker on the movie talk about their main leader like jeopardizing excitement for the
This
film.
is an
Yeah.
interesting point. It is. And
Yeah.
one thing we've seen, Booster and Thundero, over the years, we've been talking about this, is when you have a happy team and a happy situation, leaks never come out, ever.
Mm.
But
Mhm.
when there's unhappiness, things are broken, things are bust, leaks abound, right?
And you
Remember,
get Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
yeah. Remember when they were filming
Star
what was
Wars.
it? The Terminator movie, and that leak came out with Christian Bale freaking out on the director of
Yep.
photography or
That's
the
right.
director of the lights or whatever,
That's right.
whoever it was.
Well, that guy should have gotten out of the shot. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, he's not wrong. The guy wasn't in shot. But I think a lot of that, even that one, is intentional. They let that kind of stuff out because it brings attention to the project.
Maybe,
So
but
if they're
that
letting
hurt
this
Bale, though,
guy,
dude. That hurt Bale.
well, it might have hurt Bale, but it didn't hurt the movie.
That's
The movie
fair.
hurt the movie.
That's true. Yeah.
If they let this guy out to say these things, if he's not fired or heavily reprimanded, they did it on purpose. That this was intentional. They either told him that it was fine to just speak his mind, or they told him what to say.
Yeah.
So, because you just gotta remember, this is Hollywood. This is show business. Very rarely do things get out that they don't want to get out when
That
it comes
is
to
true.
in production.
That is true.
Yeah.
Leaking is a tool. But the point I'm making, when things are really happy, we don't get leaks at all. That is a truthful statement. But let me catch up the chat real quick, and then I want to get to the next paragraph because I think it's very telling if you know who Val Kilmer is. But Josh just says that I think they released pictures of him working out. Yeah, but it sounds like he is being really troublesome on set, though. It sounds like he's really being an amazing prima donna. Aside from everything else, Roger says, "Looks like we're getting a Flash movie before this Bat movie comes out." Heaven help us. Henner Kirk says he's also been in a situation before. He learned his lesson when he was almost fired from the Twilight after he was a diva on set. Clearly, he hasn't learned anything, Hannah. He knows the consequences of this, and I don't think he'd do it again. But he is doing it again, right?
Allegedly.
Well, allegedly, but we've had several leaks come out, several rumors, and then they had a dude come on live, as you said, saying it. The movie isn't even
Yes.
in real trailer world yet, not really, and he's out just banging the lead, dude. I mean, in the wrong way, by the way. But anyway, this over here is
Yeah, he's done that before too.
yeah, right. Booster, read the next paragraph. It's very interesting. Read it.
Let me just get to my computer real quick. Coming from the kitchen, I have a sandwich.
Oh, nice.
What do you have here?
Sandwiches.
The second
Ask how that will
scenario.
impact
The second
Warner
scenario.
Brothers' ambition.
No,
The
no.
second scenario is if the film flops, Pattinson won't be the Caped Crusader any longer. To illustrate his point, Tuna Cliff, what kind of
It is
name
a
is
funny name, Tuna Cliff.
Tuna Cliff cited Val Kilmer's behavior on Batman Forever, leading to the casting of George Clooney. Now, what was Val Kilmer up to back then?
Well, now this is an
Oh, the
interesting
movie just
little
didn't do well.
comment because if I do believe correctly, Tuna Cliff's a really old dude and he's been around forever and he does a lot of superhero movies thing. He might well have been on that Batman Forever while he was thinking he's citing it, right? But the Val Kilmer reference is a very interesting one to choose because Val Kilmer. We don't have a lot of good movies, a lot of movies from him, unfortunately. But he is one of the best actors to ever live, plain and
Yeah.
simple. Val Kilmer is insanely good at what he does. He's just so freaking has his head so far up his own damn ass. He's just an absolute nightmare to work with. The Island of Dr. Moreau, you had this huge ego in prima donna in Val Kilmer and in the man himself. What's the big man's name? I can't remember. He's like a legend.
Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando was notorious prima donna. Horrible person to work with, and they both were. I mean, in Apocalypse Now, he was an absolute nightmare for that poor guy, Stanley Kubrick. So you have these two egos on that set, the Isle of Dr. Moreau, and it's considered by many in the industry to be the worst set and movie development of all time because of those two, right? And the absolute antics they get up to. But so for Tuna Cliff to hint that Pattinson is in some way similar to Val Kilmer, holy shit, dude. holy shit, that's really bad because Val Kilmer is legendary in his prima donna-ness.
Yeah, that's another reason that I think we're getting kayfabed.
And
I
maybe
really
it
do.
could be. It could be. Yeah.
Here's why: because when you look it up, there's loads of just pictures of him working out, of him doing workouts, trying to bulk up.
Yeah.
Comparative shots of seeing how much more ripped he is than he was before. So he's doing the work. He might be bitching about it, but he's doing it.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
anyway.
I can't blame him. I don't want to go through those ridiculous training regimens these guys do to get in these kind of shape.
Well, and Hugh Jackman, I think, enlightened that situation best in his some of his comments. But I did watch this, and there's a certain tone to. I love Midnight's Edge. I watch pretty much everything they do. Go watch it. There's a tone coming out of Tuna Cliff that is interesting. You'd have to kind of hear it rather than read it. What'd you say? I lost my train of thought.
What I say about which part? I said a lot. I said I think we're getting kayfabed.
Oh, yeah.
He is doing the work, even if he might be bitching about it.
Oh, Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Now Hugh Jackman, that dude is an absolute trooper. Because for how long did he play Wolverine? I mean, geez.
About 20 years.
Yeah,
almost.
about something like that. And during that whole time, he had to eat skinless breast meat and broccoli.
Yeah.
Right. And he hated it. He hates it. He can't stand it, but he doesn't complain about it. Even his complaint is not a complaint. He just did what he needed to do. But he said it would be nice to go have a candy bar. Right. So
Well, if you see him now, he just put out an ad where he's basically naked. He is naked. He's sitting in a chair naked.
nice.
And I think it's for some vodka or something. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in nowhere near that kind of shape. He barely has any muscle tone at all.
Oh, good on him. Good on him, dude. Let him relax. He's earned it. But
Which actor is this?
Hugh Jackman.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. But I mean, he busted his ass for us for nearly 2
Hugh Jackman's
decades.
awesome.
So he's kind of like Carl Urban in many ways to me. I know some people like to complain about Hugh Jackman, but I don't think it's justified. That dude's a professional.
I love Hugh Jackman. He's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah,
he
he's
is,
great.
but some people kind of whinge about him. But I don't think it's
They're
fair.
wrong.
They are wrong. They are wrong. I mean,
it was a weird time in the late 90s, early 2000s, all the way up through there. We had a whole bunch of really great male leads just show up.
Yep.
Jackman, Russell Crowe, just a whole bunch of them. Keanu Reeves just kind of took over Hollywood for a while and gave us some really good movies.
And now we get Pattinson. Perfect.
Yeah. And here we go. I found the article that I was thinking of because I was looking into this the other day, actually. Mm-hmm. This is what, according to the interview that his physical trainer gave, this is his current regimen. So his cardio is he runs 3 to 4 times per week, 4 miles. He does boxing 3 to 5 times per week, which doesn't say how long, but I would assume an hour or so. Strength military training. He does sandbag routines, which I've seen the pictures of that, so I believe it. He does 5 sets of 12 to 15 reps forward and reverse lunges. 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps squat and presses. Burpees and snatches. He does 3 sets of 15. Glute bridges, which I don't even know what that is. 3 sets of 15.
Those
weighted
hurt.
sandhill sprints. 5 hill sprints. So he goes up. One's up sand hills, which sucks if you've ever done it. Yeah. Military press, 5 sets, 12 to 15 reps. That's just his strength training. Then he also has an abdominal and core routine, which is a 5-minute cardio workup, bicycle crunches, 3 sets of 25 reps, dumbbell side bends, 3 sets of 25 reps, double crunches, 3 sets of 25 reps, and Superman exercises, 3 sets of 25 reps.
Yeah, but
so he is putting in the work.
Not really, dude. I know
but
it
here's
sounds
the
like
thing.
a lot, but it's not actually.
Here's the thing with it though. They even say in this they're not really trying to bulk him up. They're trying to get him as much functional muscle as possible. I don't think Pattinson's athletic. I think is the problem.
But that routine is not heavy, dude. It's not.
No, it's not. They're not trying to get him. They're not trying to get him heavy. They want him to be lean. One of the problems, if I remember right, Christian Bale. I know this for a fact. The reason he was so bulky in the first Batman movie is because they didn't give him the direction that they needed him to be a ninja, right? Be lean and ripped and cut. Instead, he went for more superhero proportions and mass.
Yeah.
So in that first movie, he's real thick. He's a thick boy, and then in the second movie, he slims down and is just more fit.
Well,
I think that's fine for Batman, if especially a young Batman. If they're going to have him be a thinner, more athletic Batman, or on screen, even if Pattinson's not really an athlete, I think that's fine. I don't think he has to be super
Yeah.
cut or huge.
well, Bale
guy.
is kind of like De Niro in the fact that he can make his body any shapes that's needed. He is that
Yeah.
type of guy.
He's a freak.
But here's an interesting little he is freak. Here's an interesting little take on it though, and we'll move on to the next story. My take is this: we're sitting here talking about Pattinson, potentially being troublesome on set because, and the director's just absolutely furious because he needs the character to look a certain way, whatever that look is,
Mhm.
right? And it's a fair conversation. I mean, they're actors. Their body is their job, right?
Yep.
But yet, if this was a female, a la Gal Gadot in Wonder Woman,
Mhm.
sexism, you horrible Nazis, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And because Gal Gadot, she went out and she did try to get in shape. She's still not anywhere near physically of the presence that she needs to be for Wonder Woman. She's not. But, she put the effort in. We could see she did. She did try. And she has such a good personality. She tries so hard and proved that she can actually act a bit. That we forgive her. We have no issues with Gal Gadot, as far as I know. But it's funny that we can have this conversation freely, no problem, but we couldn't have the Wonder Woman conversation, which was fair. Now I didn't. Now I don't necessarily agree with the big booby thing part of that conversation, but I don't really care about that. But the physical one, which is the main part of the conversation with Gal Gadot, it was fair conversation, just like this one is. But it shows
Yeah.
you where the industry is because we couldn't talk about that, but this is fine, right?
Yeah.
So
I like I said, I think it's going to be fine. I think this movie is going to actually surprise people. I don't think it's going to be great, but I think it's going to be really good.
I don't know, dude. Do you really
Batman
want
Batman
emo
has
Batman?
yeah, why not? If he's young, if he's supposed to be a young Batman, I think that's fine. Batman is kind of an emo character. He's brooding. He's a little bit moody, especially when he's
that's
young,
fair.
before he gets himself together. Once he gets, a little bit more veteran, becomes more of a veteran, no, I don't want him to be that way. But he can start off that way. I think that's fine.
What about the other question that's been knocking at the door that we haven't even addressed? Are we not kind of done with Batman? Haven't we had enough?
Apparently not, because it's about all that'll sell in the comic industry now.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
someone made a comment the other day. I think it might have been Midnight's Edge actually, but I can't remember where I heard it. But it was like we keep getting Batman over and over and over and over and over again, but yet where's Superman? We got Man of Steel, and nothing since. He was in Batman versus Superman. That was a debacle. Justice League was a hot mess. But why don't we have more Superman? Why not?
Um,
Because we
according
don't get nice
to
things.
according to what the rumors are, Warner Brothers or whoever controls it, I would assume that's who controls it. Their executives do not think they can sell hope. Exact quote.
Wow.
So they don't want to make a Superman movie.
Wow.
I was like, what? my brain short circuits on that. In 2020, you don't think people need some hope?
Well, they didn't really sell it in the Man of Steel. That was one of the problems. Was the
Yes.
grim nature of Superman and this lack and this. Well, it's once again, it's hiring a German to tell an American story. That's your problem.
The other problem is that they're trying to alter Superman's character to make him appeal to people that don't like Superman.
Well,
Yeah.
screw them, dude.
Yeah.
When
Screw them.
Superman is the most recognized, probably the most recognized names in all of pop culture, in the whole world.
Yeah, of
He's
course
got to
he
be
is.
at near the top of that list, if not at the top.
Well, dude, he's
So why
more
are you
than a
trying to
superhero
appeal
character.
him to anybody? Just let him be him,
Yeah.
and
No,
people will come watch it.
Yeah, no, he is an American icon. He's far more than a superhero comic character. He is.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
different. It's a special circumstance.
Why do you
Um,
think him being killed off in the comics made international news,
that's right.
Chris?
That's
Literally.
right. Literally did. And I remember exactly where I bought that comic actually.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, um, you know, the hope statement is kind of telling as far as where the industry is thinking and stuff. But here's the thing: we've had 20 years, well, not 20 years, 12 years and 20 some movies of superhero movies, right? But yet, who is still the most quoted actor by name connected to superheroes? Christopher Reeve, right?
Yeah.
Still.
I'd
So
say
you
yeah,
and
definitely.
that was like dopey levels of hope, right?
Hmm.
Yes.
But it's still revered and loved. So,
They are
you know,
so dumb. These movie industry people. A whole lot of them thought Joker was going to flop. It was going to be bad. It wasn't going to do well. It might make its money back, but that's up. And then it was the biggest R-rated movie of all time.
well, because it
Um,
hit the exact tone that Joker needed,
yes.
right?
Because well, my point is
Appeasement.
they're completely out of touch. They genuinely don't think that a movie about a hopeful messianic character like Superman
Mm,
would sell in 2020. That's absurd. A little bit campy, a little bit cheesy is what this world needs right now.
damn right.
That's what we need.
Damn right.
And they're just completely underselling themselves. I think if you do a good Superman movie, a good one, where Superman comes off as he's supposed to, the best one we've gotten in the last, I don't know, 30 years, probably longer than that actually, is the little bit at the end of Justice League where he shows up and beats down Steppenwolf. That's the
Yeah,
most Superman's been in decades.
that's right.
Mm.
No, that's true. And it's really sad because Henry Cavill easily could have been the best Superman we've ever had. Easily. He
Yep.
looks the part. I mean, you can't find a better look. That is Superman.
And
And
he is the part. He's
he
just like
is.
Reeves. He's that good of a guy. He's a
He
good
is.
man.
Yeah. So it's a shame. It's a real shame because he's starting to get a little bit older now, and it's starting to get a little bit out of the realm of what Superman story you can tell, right?
Hmm.
But it's unfortunate, but I don't know. It is what it is. Let's move on to the next story. We are going a little late today. I was late, but the good thing is I was able to wrap up and finish a bunch of stuff that I need. That's why I was late. That I need to get done. So I don't. I'm not in a huge rush to get back into the city. So I'm going to go a little longer if you guys don't mind. Speaking of Henry Cavill, Booster.
Oh, what do we have here? The Man from U.N.C.L.E. star Army Hammer opens up
Army
on
Hammer.
Army Hammer. Did I mispronounce it wrong, or is
No,
that
it's
name
right.
just
It's
That's
just a
right.
okay?
ridiculous
It
name.
is a ridiculous
All right.
name. Yeah.
Opens up on working in construction during quarantine. Do you think I had anything else better going on?
Right. So Army Hammer. If you guys don't know, he isn't kind of the typical classical look Hollywood actor guy, right? And he's all right. Of course the most of you might know him from The Man from Uncle, which of course he starred in with Henry Cavill. And I just thought it was an interesting little thing to put next to the Batman because I knew we'd get into Superman. I knew we would. So I put it next to it, for me it was kind of interesting because I have a lot of different aged classes in my school, and on Friday nights, I have high school classes. And when it comes to English study or language study, this is one of the areas that women kick men's ass. Right? Women are much better at language things than men are. They just are. It's one of their advantages. I always have a lower percentage of male to female in my school, of course, but the high school classes are basically just female. It's interesting because these kids are older. They've grown up in the Marvel Studios age, so they have seen a lot of the Marvel movies, and it's become part of international culture, really, which is an accomplishment in and of itself to itself, I think. But the interesting thing, when you ask these girls about what actors they like in Hollywood, things like that, Henry Cavill is certainly in there. He's a handsome fella. They love them some
Yeah.
Henry Cavill because these are young women. Of course, they are thinking about things like that. But Army Hammer comes up a lot. They love them some Army Hammer, dude. And their favorite movie of all those girls, it's not Avengers, it's not Ant-Man, it's yada yada yada. It's frickin' The Man from Uncle.
Really? Oh,
I've
They
literally
love
never
it.
seen
They
it.
adore it because it's got
I haven't
two
even seen that
super
movie.
sexy hottie guys in it that they love. So
Yeah.
Army Hammer's got some fans over here in Japan, I'd say.
Huh.
Sorry, that's why I put it up.
That movie. Did that movie even do well? Like,
Probably not. No, probably not. It was very boring, movie.
yeah. I haven't even seen it. I was very
You know what we
I
should
didn't
do,
really
Chester?
care.
Hmm.
I just came up with a great segment we should do on our not tonight because it's getting late, but our next show Sunday. We should all come up with a short little pitch for a new Superman movie. What can they do?
Ooh.
With Henry, has to stay the same guy. We don't no retelling, none of this. What can they do with him?
Oh,
Because I think there's a lot of really cool. They could even have their cake and eat it too if they did it right. Where they could have the nihilistic, edgy nonsense that they want and the super hopeful stuff. You could do both, but I think that'd be fun.
yeah, it would be, and I could answer now, but I'll hold it. Make sure you remind me. You're talking about on the Night Owl show.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Remind me to do that next week though, because I'm sure my scatterbrain will not remember. But yeah, no, that sounds like fun because I know exactly what they should do. Yeah, absolutely. I'm the biggest Superman fan here anyway. Clearly. So,
Oh.
no, I am, dude. Clearly I am. Yeah, yeah.
It's a tough that's a tough one. I think we all love our Superman here.
Everyone loves
Yeah.
Superman, but I am the number one fan. Deal with
In
it.
fact, I don't enjoy people who don't love Superman. Get away from me.
I
Yeah.
hate
So-
all their arguments
Yo.
suck. Every
Yeah,
single
they're just bad.
argument to not like Superman. Their arguments suck.
They do
He's
suck.
too overpowered. So are his villains. Shut up.
That's interesting.
Right.
Coldfin Video says probably Guy Ritchie's best film. Interesting. I understand Guy Ritchie is arrogant and he's over the top, but I kind of like Guy Ritchie films actually.
As a guy who can quote freaking Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking
Oh,
Barrels
such a great
word for
movie,
word, piss off.
Yeah, piss off. What was that other great movie with Brad
Snatch.
Pitt in it? Snatch. Yeah. Oh, freak yeah,
Mm.
dude. No, I
Great
like Guy
movie.
Ritchie.
I love those movies. Snatch and Lock, Stock.
Yeah.
Great
I mean,
movies.
he's got his ass straight up his head straight up his own ass. He does. He most certainly does. But that doesn't mean he can't do a good job. Did you
That's
see
right.
him in Prometheus? Or was it no? Was it Prometheus? I think it was Prometheus or Covenant. Yeah,
Oh, he was in that.
yeah. He played the old dude, but as a young dude or something like that, or the son of. He's in it. Yeah, he's acting actually instead of
Oh,
directing.
acting.
Yeah, he's doing the acting thing. But anyway, I just put that up because of the connection. I thought it was really interesting with the girls because they just love them some Army Hammer, and it's like, well. Well, Army Hammer is hardly known by anybody, and he's doing construction. But then again, Han Solo did it too.
Good,
Harrison Ford.
good on him.
Yeah, good on him.
And he's a pretty classically handsome dude as well. At 34, why is he not doing more superhero
He
shit?
is classically Hollywood. He is. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should definitely be doing something in a superhero.
Oh, that's right. He did do Lone
What do you
Ranger.
think of him as a? I don't know why it popped in my head, but what about him as Orion?
As a what?
I don't know. Orion.
Oh,
Gods.
well, does he have that role?
I don't know. I was just thinking. That was just the first thing that popped in my head. I thought it could work.
It could, yeah, maybe. The problem is his name is well known because he's so handsome and stuff like that, I guess. But he hasn't been in anything really good though that I can
Oh,
think
so he's
of.
like The Rock. I get you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, see, but The Rock is different because The Rock has a certain amount of charisma that just is going to drag you along. Right?
Yeah, he's living charisma. Like
He is. Yeah.
it's just personified.
I wish he didn't go and get woke with him here recently with the whole Biden thing, but oh well, it is what it is.
Yeah, that was a shame.
It is what it is. Anyway, I just put it up there for a joke. I do have I don't know, I think we have enough time to do a couple more. This one isn't important. Let's do this one here. Let's do this one. This one will be our last story of the day, and I'll let you guys go. What are you doing?
No.
Stop it. Go ahead, Booster.
Alrighty. Current Patreon board member and former Twitter CEO, Dick Costolo, declares individuals who separate business from activism will be lined up against the wall and shot in the revolution.
Hmm.
He's very confident in that.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is why, for many of you out there who have Patreons, and wonder why so many of us are no longer on your Patreons, this is why. This is why, right?
I'm not on anyone's Patreon because I can't afford shit.
Well, I did support. I do. I did used to support people on Patreon. And I even hear people in the comic book, our world, but I'm not anymore, and I haven't for a while because these guys are troublesome, very troublesome.
Patreon's awful. Yeah.
And they are awful. So I don't throw any money at Patreon at all. But I mean, Thundero, I put this up because it illustrates how recently we've had. It seems that the ex CAOs and the former this or former that of some really big stuff have been coming out and saying really, really harsh things like kill them all,
Mhm.
remove them, line them against the wall, shoot them. Really, really subversive, revolutionary talk is coming out. A lot of these ex CAOs and ex MSNBC hosts and et cetera, et cetera. We've been seeing quite a lot of it. So the industry itself is not taking the step, but they're having their previous people do it. What do you think about this escalation? Because understand without any questions at all, this is an escalation. Clearly,
Mhm.
Yes.
what do you think?
I think it's inevitable. These people sold out to China a long time ago. They are corporate Chinese communists, all in everything but being Chinese. They want a corporatocracy. They want to rule the world through technocracy. And they have, largely, until certain presidents showed up and seemed to stifle them.
Yeah,
The America is the gem. It's the prize. They need to control America because, I mean, as America goes, so goes the world.
that's
So
fair.
that's why you're seeing the more escalation, because they feel their power waning. China cannot support what they want to do. They want a global government. China can't give them that. They just don't have the resources. America can, though. America can do it easy. In fact, we pretty much have for the
Yeah,
last 70 years.
yeah,
So that's why. These people aren't revolutionaries. They want the status quo returned with no threats to it. And they will willingly kill anybody who stands in their way. It's pretty obvious that that's the goal. Now, the funny thing is they're pandering to people who aren't as stupid as they think they are. And a lot of these lefties, these real lefties, actual communists they've created, will kill them too. No question, no hesitation. If they won't give up their wealth, they're going to die.
and if
That's
you
what
think,
that's what communists do.
well, and
That's
if you
kind of
think
their thing.
it is, but if you think Thundero is being hyperbolic, he's not. Take a look
No.
at Oberman's statement just a few days ago. He's used to be with MSNBC, right?
Mm-hmm.
He made a statement very similar to this: is basically kill them, right?
Yeah.
And what happened in
Remove them from
Denver?
society.
What
Yeah.
happened immediately after that in Denver? Now, luckily, Denver is not so lost that this guy has been arrested and he's going to go to jail for a long time, first-degree murder, right?
Yeah.
As he should, because and that's the thing that the media tried to twist it, but they keep forgetting we have autism and it has been weaponized for our side. They
It is weird.
It is
the
weird.
the weaponized autist people have this meme they go about where they lament that they were born too late to explore the world and too early to explore the stars, but just at the right moment to save the West.
Yeah. Well,
They
and
just keep doing it.
and it's not even a political agenda with them. What it is facts. They can't stand when things are not in place, which I understand. I have a
Yeah.
little bit of that too. What is called OCD or something like that. I don't know what they call it. Everything must be
I thought it
straight.
was just being a pedantic asshole, but alright.
That's me. Yeah, I'm a pedantic asshole. Because I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Right. So everything's got to be straight with me. But I'm not to the point that I'm actually autistic. They have it. They got it worse. So when they see things that
Yeah.
are not true or not in place,
It's
not
like a
straight,
superpower.
it is, and it bugs them. So it's not even like they have a political opinion. They have no
Yeah.
choice in the matter.
It's
Right.
just like
Even
this
if
math just doesn't add up.
these people just happen to be degenerate leftists, or at least a lot of them pretend to be because they can push more power that way. If this was the other way, most of these same people would be doing the same thing. They'd still be resisting
Yeah.
because their autism can't allow them to do anything else.
Yeah. But of course they demonstrate everything very clearly. But I mean, mine is so bad though, Booster, because my wife is a very good wife. I mean, she does all the wifey things. She cleans, she cooks, she does laundry, she does all those kind of things, right?
She does a
And
job,
she does her job. Well, sure,
and you
it's
don't
her,
even have to beat her.
not at all. No.
That's a
But
good. That's a good woman.
but the
That's a good
funny
woman.
the funny thing about it is I kind of don't say anything and let her do the thing because she's not really a very good cleaner. She's not. She tries,
Oh,
but she like kind of just puts a cloth on something and there's no force whatsoever. It just kind of like lightly, floats over the top of it. So I always go behind. I hope she's not listening. I always go behind and I clean everything. The house is spotless because of me, right? I'm always actually cleaning the things that she thinks she's cleaning. But I'm a good husband. I let her think she's successful, you see.
that's a beautiful love story.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I just
Yeah.
can't stand it, dude. I can't stand it. And she trolls me all the time too. She'll do things like she'll just walk by and she'll just tip a book like a centimeter off. She doesn't intentionally. She does always like just putting things just a little off because she knows I can't go 5 minutes. I can't. I try, but I have to get up and fix it. Damn it.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Does your wife do stuff like that to you, Thundero?
I'm not allowed to clean. She says I do it wrong, so she does it all.
All right. Yeah. My wife won't let me do laundry either because she says I do it wrong.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
same with my wife. It's such a hassle. Am I right, men with wives?
No, it is
Poor
funny
Booster.
because it is funny though, because my wife literally won't let me do laundry because she doesn't like the way I do it. Right? Because I'm
Oh yeah,
happy to
my
help with
wife
it.
just wants to do sex all the time. I'm like, settle down, baby. I'm streaming.
Oh Lord,
Oh God. Well, women like sex too, Booster.
it's true.
I know
Yeah.
she's always begging me for my well endowed penis.
Yeah, there you go. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. The funny thing, my kids had a little bit of a shock. This is probably pushing it, but I'll tell the story. My kids had a little bit of a shock here some years ago because as kids, they're just they're kids. They don't notice or pay attention to things like that. But as they got older and they started getting dating and understanding that part of life, they noticed my son caught it first, I think. But they noticed that because with me, if you guys hear me, right? You see, I am like this uber male thing, right? So
Mm.
you would think the one that's always touching ass and grabbing tits and stuff like that would be me, right? Right? It would be me in the
Hmm.
Mhm,
house.
mhm.
But it's actually my wife. She's the one that's always doing
Oh
that.
my god.
And my son noticed it, and he's
She's
like,
grabbing your tits?
no, she just touch brush the ass or just stuff like that. Little things when she's walking by. It's just affectionate, husband and wife stuff. It's not a
Mm,
big
mm.
deal. But the thing is that my kids never noticed it before, and then they noticed it and they were shocked because they assured in their brain that it would be me doing that shit, but it's actually their mom. It kind of shook them because that's not
Oh
their
no.
image of their mom at all, right? So it was funny. Anyway, sorry.
Oh no. Dirty. Dirty, dirty.
Not really. It's any of the married people here know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I know all about that.
Booster, we
I'm
got it.
just gonna say, booty's not safe
No, it ain't
around here.
safe, dude. It ain't safe. It
It's
ain't
getting
safe.
one.
Yeah.
Mm,
But
mm.
Thunder, what do we got to do with Booster? We got to do something with Booster here.
We gotta get him a woman. He
We
needs a
do.
woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. Any
Little, he needs a little
any
Japanese
take
woman. That's what he needs.
any takers in the chat here?
Any,
I don't know if there's any
take
woman left.
you leave our chat women alone, sir. We
Chat
love our
woman?
women's over here.
I don't
Uh,
care how old are you, whether or not you're single.
But
that's
whoa,
fair.
whoa, whoa!
That's
Calm
fair.
down there.
That's fair.
I'll come get you.
Calm down, Chomo. It's all right. Calm down.
A good Japanese woman would be good for Booster because Japanese
Yeah.
women or Asian women in general, but Japanese are probably the best at it. The thing that's really good about them because some Western people have an idea that Japanese women are subservient. They're not.
Mm.
What they are is women. and
Mhm.
they know how to be women. And that is something that
What a concept.
well, I mean, a lot of women in the West have lost this. They've lost the concept of being a woman. When you are married to someone, it is a partnership. You are a team moving into the world together. You're facing oblivion together. That's the whole point. And therefore, you look out for each other. You take care of each other. You do things to empower the team, which includes your significant other, right? This isn't just the male take, it's the female take too. We must constantly be, improving the brand, as it were, right? And
Mhm.
Japanese
Mhm.
women get this instinctively. And therefore, I make mistakes. I do things wrong. And there's times when my wife says that she didn't like something, or I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have done that. Of course she does. But where does she do it, Thundero? At home, never
Yep.
in public, ever, right? Now, a man would
Yeah.
never do this anyway. It's just not in our nature, right? But women
Mm.
do that kind of thing, right? But a wife doesn't, you see. And this is something I've noticed become worse and worse and worse in the West. The women are no longer wives. They're not part of the team. They're their own independent thing. They have their own bank accounts. It's their own thing. You better keep me happy or get divorced. How many times do these sitcoms make that joke? Often does that joke come up? All the freaking
Mhm.
time, right? That is not what marriage is. It's not. But that's what they
Correct.
want it to be. It's this: the woman is an individual thing. She's with you as long as she is satisfied. Well, let me tell you what. There are times in marriage where nobody's satisfied. And you just
Correct.
got to get it done and move on to the next happy day, right?
Yep. Love is not. It's not something you have all the time.
No.
Just not.
No.
But if the person's the right person, it'll come back. It always does.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, because you're supposed to be a unit. But this is
Yes.
something that's being lost in the West. Not all. I'm sure there's plenty of good couples, happy couples. I'm sure, but we're seeing more and more of this breakdown. That's why the divorce rate is increasing, and we're also seeing the media has been pushing this for what 30 years,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And it's
But
only
longer
getting
than that,
worse.
really.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
just
One
think
thing
about.
Booster definitely shouldn't have is an Irish chick. I'm
Oh no,
married to an
God no.
Irish
He
descended
couldn't.
woman.
He couldn't handle
He
that. Yeah.
no.
No. No. I had me a couple Irish girls though, but they're fun to
Yeah.
play with. But damn, be ready.
Yeah.
Be ready.
Oh,
Mhm.
I love a bitch. Put it that way.
Yeah.
That's just
Oh, they
it's
can
what
be
I was
fun.
raised with.
They can be fun. They can be fun. You just got to know how to deal with that. Actually, I was having a conversation yesterday, one of my adult classes, Booster, where they're kind of this it was my second class, and they're kind of softer men, right? Whereas the first class is a bunch of doctors. They're like ultra alphas, right? The second class is made up of different people, all very talented and interesting individuals, but they're softer men. And somehow the conversation came to something similar to this. And they were going on about this idea and that idea when it came to women, because they're the kind of middle-aged dudes and aren't married. And we kind of got in the conversation of how they could become married. And I just looked at him and kind of chuckled. I was like, dude, you guys don't understand women at all. You want first of all, you don't be too nice to them. Second of
Yeah.
all, say no. If you want a
Yeah.
woman win a woman's heart, tell her no.
All the time.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, they don't get
So
it,
when she's
dude.
like, "Hey, do you want to come upstairs and have sex?" I go, "No, you daft slut.
Yeah.
No, that's
None
when
of
you
that.
say yes, Booster. That's a yes moment. Yeah.
You
It
shan't extract my semen, you demon wench."
Okay,
it also
fine,
depends
Booster.
on the context.
It
Because if you
does. Yeah,
literally
of
don't know this
course.
woman, then I'd be like, no.
Yeah, well, of
I
course,
don't
that's
want to
true.
do that.
I've actually had
Especially if she
denied
was like,
sex
you
in
know,
my life. I
Hey,
have.
love, would you like to come upstairs and have sex with me?
Exactly.
Oh, gobble your cock, mate.
So, wow. But so why did you say yes to the crack whore then?
Look,
That was a good one down there. I'm gonna
better
let that
wild.
steep a little. Uh,
All right.
anyway, all right. Interesting. Well, we've definitely departed from comic book news, I'd say. But nevertheless,
No, never. Us?
us, yeah. Well, thank you all for coming in. That was a lot of fun. I'm sorry I was late, but It is what it is, man. But we got it done, and it's our pretty standard show. Just 30 minutes departed from its standard time. Tomorrow, keep in mind, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be doing the Bugbear's Basement, where we will be continuing in the Tyranny of Dragons, which is we're having a lot of fun with. If you guys want to check that out, and then of course this week we are doing. On Drawn and Quartered Booster, we're doing is it Universal Monsters or Lady Death?
One of those.
One of those. Yeah, we're doing one of those.
Lady Death.
Lady Death. So come back and check that out. That should be a lot of fun. This month's going to be fun anyway because we are doing Universal Monsters, and then we're ending on the Halloween show where we are doing Elvira Presents, which means that they can do whatever they want as long as Elvira is somewhere in the picture as well. So. That'll be a
Nice.
lot of fun. Yeah, nice. Absolutely.
Elvira.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I guess let me just get these closing statements and we'll be out of here. Today we're going to have Booster Namaste. However, Thundero, go ahead, dude.
I have nothing to say other than I'm tired, a little bit hungry, but I'm going to have a good night.
Sweet. Perfect. Booster?
Well, in the wise words of Alex Jones, look, I'm kind of retarded. Namaste.
You know,
Namaste.
that's actually a very wise thing to say. Because he's admitting he doesn't always know what to do.
Much like Socrates, as he said, as something to do with not knowing anything. I don't know what he said.
I only know that I know nothing.
Yeah, that one.
Namaste. All right. Later.
Aloha.